Have you ever wondered why some women effortlessly attract the type of men you've always wanted to be approached by? What is it exactly that she's doing that allows her to put in no effort but receive all the attention? I hate to say it, but it's because there's a secret sauce that very few women know how to tap into correctly, which is why we'll be discussing 10 feminine traits men find irresistible. That way you can join the secret society of women that truly understand how to make a man go crazy. Our very first trait is one that really grinds my gears. Okay, I'm gonna start by telling you a story. So I went out to a nice fancy restaurant on a date with a girl one time, and she was looking amazing. So I told her, "You look amazing. You are the finest girl in this entire restaurant." And there was a lot of people there. It was a really nice restaurant. And you want to know what her response to me was? It was, "Oh my gosh, no, I don't even look that good. My makeup wasn't done right today. My foundation didn't come out right. My highlights all messed up. My hair didn't come out how I wanted it to come out. It's not the right style and right this and right that." And I'll be real with you. As a man, that moment when she did that was the biggest turnoff that I had ever experienced with her up until that point. And needless to say, she wasn't my cup of tea after that. Now, that might sound a little bit harsh, but I'm telling you how frustrating it can be when a woman doesn't understand how to properly receive. And specifically, I'm referring to being able to receive a compliment, because for us as men, when we're giving compliments, when we're trying to do things for you, when we're trying to show you our appreciation for you, especially through our words, right? There is a gifting process there, right? We're kind of giving you something, we're offering you something, so to speak. And see, one of the best feminine traits you can develop is the ability to receive properly, even though sometimes the gift that he's giving you, the compliment that he's giving you, the words that he's saying to you, you might not necessarily feel about yourself. See, just how I was on that date with her, I wanted to express how I felt genuinely in that moment and how I saw her. I know for you yourself, you're able to see all your little flaws, and when you're getting ready, you're seeing the smallest pimples and you're seeing all your little pores, but you have to understand, especially for your man, he's not seeing you the same way that you're seeing you. So when he's appreciating you by telling you how beautiful you are, how amazing that you look, he genuinely feels that way. And the worst thing you can do is take that away from him by showing him all the different ways in which you're not what he is saying you are or what he believes you to be. Having good and amazing feminine energy is about understanding, as it relates to this trait, that in order for you to properly receive, you have to get good at allowing men to compliment you, even though you might not necessarily feel that way about yourself in that specific moment. The second trait that us men love, we eat up, is playfulness. Let me tell you actually a very tragic and sad story. So I had a friend. He was part of our group of friends, and when he started dating this girl, it changed his personality in a very negative way. See, before he was dating this girl, he was really outgoing and fun to be around, always telling jokes. But the way that her personality, her very, very serious, monotone, don't play around, don't tell a joke personality rubbed off on him, changed the way he was around us, because he became accustomed to being so serious and stand up straight and don't make a joke and don't play around because you can't be immature. You got to be mature all the time. You got to be like a soldier. That began to become his regular everyday personality. So when he would be around us, he became like a person with no color, with no form, with no shape. You guys ever watch the episode of SpongeBob where he has no holes anymore and he's just a round thingamabob, right? Just shiny and round, just like that, right? Normal SpongeBob. And this is the thing. We love as men, we love being able to be around women that make us feel alive, make us feel young in our spirit. Because at the end of the day, as the years go by, right? It's very and uber important that you are able to have fun with your man and around your man, and your man's able to have fun with and around you. Because at the end of the day, this process of being able to kind of go up and down, oh, we poke fun at each other, we have some nice flirtatious energy with each other sometimes, we go back and forth sometimes in a good way, all allows the relationship to continue to be interesting. Sometimes women make the mistake of trying to be so serious, so over the top, I have self-respect, I don't make any jokes, I take life super seriously, that it actually steals the fun of being around you away. So what you want to understand is being playful from the very beginning of your relationship is such a good way to establish a dynamic in which, yes, there are certain aspects of the relationship that we should take very seriously. But at the end of the day, in order for us to enjoy our time together, us being flirtatious and having fun and poking fun and not always taking everything super serious is actually the key to the longevity of our relationship. Our third amazing feminine trait is going to be about belief, specifically your belief in a man. Let me give you an example in a story format so you can understand what I mean. Let's say you're going out on a date with a man and you guys are trying to figure out where you're supposed to be going. And in the process of you guys kind of trying to find the best spot to go, he says, well, where do you want to go? Where would you rather eat? Your response may usually have been, oh, I want to go to this specific sushi spot, or I want to go to this specific Mexican or Italian place. But what I want you to do instead, to give him and show him this nice, amazing feminine trait, is say, you know what? I actually trust you to make the best decision. I feel like you have amazing taste. I promise you, whether you say it over a text or you say it on the phone, he's going to be like, it's going to hit him like a ton of bricks, because most men have never ever heard that from a woman before. And see, it sets an expectation. It sets an expectation that you believe in his abilities. And even though you might think to yourself, well, Tomisin, I don't know if I really trust his taste. I don't know if I really can trust him to take me to the right spot if I don't point him in the right direction. It doesn't matter, because what's going to happen in the process of you saying that is he's going to say, damn, I do kind of like her and she really has belief in me. So I got to find like the best spot to go to. Now I really got to research. Now I really got to make sure that I don't disappoint, because her expectation is that I'm this amazing guy who has amazing taste that can take her to this amazing spot. So if I don't do that, that's a big disappointment on her part, but it also makes me look horrible, because how am I going to come to this date unprepared, not knowing where to go after she done talked me up in her mind and to me, right? So understand, in some ways, giving people subconscious pressure can actually be a really, really good thing. And this is one of those scenarios, not to mention, as men, you have to understand part of us being in our masculine energy and thriving in that masculine energy is you doing things for us as women in only a way a woman could do. And this is a perfect example of that, right? When we start to feel our most capable as men, when we start to feel our most powerful, we can do anything, we can lift 500 pounds. It really actually stems from you as the woman having belief in us. And through your belief, we actually start to believe in ourselves and our own abilities. And that's when we're able to take the next step and the next level and surpass even what we thought was possible for ourselves as men. The fourth amazing feminine trait is control, specifically emotional control. Now, this can kind of sound like a bit of a masculine thing, but I promise you, emotional control in itself is also inherently very feminine as well, because there's ways to handle your emotions without allowing them to spill over and allowing yourself to go crazy. Let me give you an example of what not to do. For example, let's say you and a guy plan to have a phone call at 9 p.m. at night. And let's say, in the sake of this example, he is really tired from work. He's had a bunch of meetings and a really long day. So he falls asleep around that 9 p.m. mark or just before that. And so in the process of him falling asleep, it's now currently 10 p.m. and you still have yet to receive a call from him. So what do? You send him 17 texts, you send him 5 voice notes, and you unfollow him on Instagram and you delete his number. And so by the time he wakes up the next morning, he sees his phone blown up. He sees like it's been Armageddon, World War III, and all he did was fall asleep. Now, this is a problem, because what you're showing him in the process of that is a lot of emotional immaturity. What we want to do instead in a scenario like this is to show emotional control and maturity, that even when you're upset, you're able to either communicate your feelings in a very mature way or not allow your emotions to force you to jump to conclusions. Because feminine women that are very attractive to men don't jump to conclusions and go crazy without actually having the necessary information, number one. And they also don't allow their emotions to be in control of them, right? There's nothing wrong with feeling things. And in this scenario, there's nothing wrong with being disappointed or upset about the fact that someone said they were going to call you at 9 p.m., but they didn't call you at 9 p.m. But in the process of that, we can't allow the fact that we're disappointed about a situation or upset about something that he said or did to allow our emotions to spill to the point where they just become uncontrollable. Okay, there's a line between those two things. And for us as men, when we can meet women, trust me, trust me, I'm telling you as a man, we know the difference. In fact, for most of us men, we're anticipating that most of the women that we come across won't be able to actually control their own emotions. I'm just telling you, I'm being honest with you as a man. We anticipate most women can't do that. So when we meet a woman that actually is capable of managing and overcoming her emotions, not that she doesn't feel anything, but she just doesn't allow them to control her, now all of a sudden we're like, whoa, this is really a woman that I can take seriously. Because in the process of us recognizing that you're able to have emotional control, we also inherently realize it'll be a lot easier to communicate with you. It'll be a lot easier to work with you. It'll be a lot easier to come to compromises with you and solutions with you when your emotions don't run you. You're able to run your emotions. Our fifth feminine trait is about role play, and I'm going to share an experience with you so you can understand how important this is. There was a time I was dating a girl, and we had gone on a couple of dates. And so I had kind of been able to feel out more or less what her vibe was after these couple of dates. And one thing that she would always do whenever she got into my car is she would always be like, oh, well, we need to turn down the heat and we need to lower the windows and we need to do this and we need to do that. And the seat's like this. Why is this like this? And she would change everything in the car. She'd take over all the music, she would take over everything. Okay. And after a while, in me starting to get to feel that vibe from her, right? What ended up happening after a while, one, it turned me off a lot, but it also made me feel like whenever she came into the room or whenever I was around her, she would suck all the air out of the room. Because it wasn't just with me, but with her friends, with her family, with anyone she was around, she would always have to be in total control of what everyone was doing, even if what they were doing was completely inconsequential to her and her well-being. And so it, one, really turned me off. But also, as a man, it doesn't allow you to play your natural role in a relationship, which is to be the provider, which is to be the protector, which is to be the person who is making a lot of the decisions. Sometimes, as a woman, you can come into situations and relationships with an already existing mindset that I need to do everything because if I don't do everything, everything is going to fall apart. Now, I understand for some of you that's a trauma response from other things that you've experienced in your life and in other relationships and maybe even with family members, but I also want you to not forget how important it is to try your best to make an adjustment, because I promise you, men can notice and feel the difference. Because when a woman is so hyper fixated on controlling him as a man, it doesn't allow him to properly exist as a man. And the reason that I drew out this yin yang symbol is because it's supposed to represent the different roles that we will play in relationships as masculine and feminine energies. We are, just like in yin and yang, in and of each other. We're like a perpetual cycle. We can't have one without the other, and we're like one in the same. We combine to be the same thing. But it only works that way in perfect harmony if we're both playing our roles how they're supposed to be played. And if you, as a woman, are coming in outside of your feminine energy and you're very masculine, I need to control everything, you need to do things just like this, just like that, or everything's gonna fall apart, you're high stress, you're high strung, like you're very overly, like it just does not work well. And I promise you, when you start relaxing, and letting go and realizing that it's not the end of the world if the guy doesn't do it exactly perfect, exactly how you want it to go. And your life can still be good and amazing and awesome and happy and full of fun and joy, even if he doesn't do it exactly to a T how you had it in your mind. I promise you, you'll be a lot happier, and the man that you're with will be so much happier. The sixth amazing feminine trait us men love is women with intelligence, and specifically emotional intelligence. Now, I'm not just talking about the type of intelligence of, oh, you know when he's upset or sad or things like that. I'm talking about emotional intelligence from the standpoint of being able to transcode, decode your own emotions and deliver them in a clear, concise way that other people can actually receive what you're saying. Let me give you an example of that, okay? Let's say me and you are out at a party, and let's say I'm talking to my bestest friend that I've had since high school, a girl that I know, and we're hugging, we're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long, we're embracing each other, we're touching real close, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, is this MFR serious right now? I will literally cut off his And then in your mind, you're going crazy and you're feeling crazy and you're feeling like you want to blow up and you want to say a whole bunch of stuff. You want to throw water on him. You want to go insane. Having emotional intelligence in that moment, an example of that would be being able to say, you know what, rather than me just throwing water on him and then him not understanding what I feel and why I feel that way, let me digest this, even though I'm upset. Okay, even though I'm really upset, right? This is part of having emotional control, to not just blurt out exactly what you feel or be impulsive. I'm gonna hold in what I have to say, even if he knows that I'm upset. When I finally do communicate what I want to say, it'll be at the right time. So it's not going to be in the middle of the party so that everyone is in our business. And then when I do finally communicate what I have to say, I will actually have digested my feelings and then be able to transcode what I feel so that when I deliver it out to him, he can actually understand, oh, it's not that, oh, I don't trust you or I think that you would cheat on me. But you have to understand, when I see you embracing another woman like that, and you tell me that you've had a long-standing friendship with this woman, it makes me feel icky, nasty, weird, strange, because I want to share that type of relationship with you. And seeing that just makes me very uncomfortable. So these are the type of things where when you have emotional intelligence to not just, oh, when you're upset, the only way you know how to communicate being upset is by throwing things or yelling or screaming and not actually communicating, right? Then it sets the wrong precedent. It creates the wrong environment. But when you're able to actually express yourself outwardly and talk about your feelings, but also be very specific and detailed about not just what you feel in terms of anger or sadness, but why you feel that way, the things that escalated the situation for you, the key elements of that, the things that made it worse for you, that took you to a darker place, how it hurt you, even connecting it to things of your past traumas with other partners, with your family, in your childhood, and why this is affecting you negatively this way. All of that information is information that you take in, you transcode, decode, you understand why and how it's happening, and then you deliver it to your man, and then he's able to go, oh, I get it now. In fact, after you explaining that to me, I actually understand you a little bit better now. So when I do something or when you respond a particular way, I actually understand the root of why you're responding that way, which is why emotional intelligence can be such a powerful tool for both men and women. But us men, we love women who can communicate their feelings clearly and concisely, because it allows us as men to better be able to give you what you need and serve you in the exact way that you want to be served. Trait number 7, I love it, but I hate it when it's not present, because it happens a lot. Graciousness. I'm not talking about just being thankful in general. I'm talking about understanding how to allow men to take action for you. Because I'll be honest with you, something that us men we're not good at is talking. Because some men you might meet are good at love bombing you and just saying whatever. But there is a large percentage of men that don't know how to necessarily express how they really feel about you in words. like saying, oh, you mean so much to me. I can't live without you. I want you forever. This is actually, as weird as it sounds, very difficult to close to impossible for some men to do, because when they feel something for you, expressing that through words doesn't feel very natural or genuine to men. What feels a lot more genuine and natural for men is taking action for you. They actually are very good, us men, we are very good at being able to express our love on a daily basis for you by taking very small and what you might even think are not even relevant actions for you. For example, fixing your car. That might be something a little bit larger, or getting the cereal box on the top shelf for you, or giving you his jacket because he can sense, because he knows you. He sees your face, he knows your facial expressions. And he can see that you're cold, but you're not just saying you're cold because you don't want to say it, because you know you should have worn a jacket, but you just don't want to say that you're cold because you know he'll be like, damn, you cold. So, and these are the type of things where for us as men, right? When we get an opportunity to do these things for you, it's super duper important that you allow us to do them. One of the things that I've experienced in the process of meeting a lot of women and going on dates, sometimes you can come to your date with the already existing mindset, right? This has happened to me. Having the mindset that I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I'm a boss woman, I don't need a man for anything. That's cool. But when you come on a date to create a partnership that's supposed to be long lasting, we both need each other. The problem is that virus that is replaying over and over in your mind like a tape recorder gone mad is going to affect your ability to be gracious and receive love and the gifts and the actions that a man naturally wants to give you when he likes you. So when I go to give you my jacket, for example, when we're on this date and we're out in the cold and I can see that you're uncomfortable, you say, oh, no, I don't need your jacket. It's whatever. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. We're going to be right inside the building anyways. It's okay. You know, inside I'm cold, but you just don't want to accept my jacket. One, because you're like, oh, but now you'll be cold if you take my jacket. But you also don't want to feel like you need anything from me. This is a very bad place to be. Because for us as men, we love being able to do things for you, even small little things. And women that are really good at getting what they want from men understand, one, how to accept those things and be gracious for them. That makes us feel amazing. But they also know how to play it up a little bit and be like, oh, I'm a little damsel in distress. Can a big man that's super strong, super smart, super intelligent, that looks just like you and very handsome, come and save me from my distress? Okay, I know it sounds very silly and very, oh my gosh, that's so 1950s, but I promise you, us as men, we eat it up. We love it. We love saving a damsel in distress, a nice, small, feminine woman that we can just save from a burning building. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel like men. It makes us feel strong and capable. And that has never changed, and that will never change. So if you want to access this trait and access this superpower, you have to get good at, one, being gracious, but also allowing men to do things for you and taking action for you. But even more than that, sometimes playing up to the damsel in distress role that will make it even more fun and more fulfilling for us as men to take that action for you. The eighth amazing feminine trait that we men love is style. Now, this kind of looks like a very weird diagram that I drew, but I want to explain something very important to you that some of you may not like. Masculine men, the truth and the honest reality of it is, masculine men are attracted to women who give off a feminine vibe. So what you have to accept is that part of your presentation, your aura, as the kids say, is how you present yourself outwardly, and it starts with how you dress. Because before I meet you, before I come and talk to you, or even decide that I want to come and talk to you, I first have to see what you look like in order to decide if you're my vibe. You know, the kids love vibes. So the reason I drew this diagram like this is because if we think about it like that, like you have an aura, and that aura is outputting everywhere you go. People are consuming it and seeing it and analyzing it. Through that aura, you're then attracting people to you depending on what type of aura you're outputting everywhere that you go, which is why there's arrows going out and there's arrows going back in. So your style is another version of your aura. If they know that sounds very weird and very hippy dippy, okay? But if we think about it like this, let me give you an example actually, so you can better understand this. I had a woman that I was helping ask me, well, Tomisin, why do you think that I am constantly attracting guys that I don't want? Because I always seem to get and go on dates with these really feminine men. They can't take action. They never ask me out. They're like soy boys. They're even like to the point where they're overly nice, to the point where I'm just like, you're annoying, you're disgusting, I don't want you. And I asked her a question, well, what do you think about you might be attracting feminine men? Where are you going? What are you doing? And I asked her, how do you regularly dress? And she said, oh, well, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit lazy. I said, what do you mean by lazy? She said, oh, well, sometimes doing my hair is a lot, doing my makeup is a lot. So I just kind of like adopted the style sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, all the time. I'll go out, oversized sweater, oversized shirt, oversized pants, and just some sneakers because it's comfortable, it's easy, and I don't have to spend hours getting ready and doing all that other stuff. And then I said to her, well, no wonder why you're attracting feminine men. You're outputting signals, right? Your aura is literally enticing feminine men, because masculine men aren't going to see you dressed that way and then say to themselves, well, I want to be with that type of woman, because they're assuming you're more of a tomboy type of woman, which is fine. But you have to ask yourself an even more important question. Do you want the type of guy who is attracted to tomboy women? And then she said to herself, that's interesting. Because when I think about the type of guy who would be attracted to a tomboy is and what he would look like, I'm not attracted to that guy. And I said, well, there's a complete misalignment there, because what you're literally saying is that when you go outside of your house, the type of guy that you're regularly attracting through the way that you present yourself is quite literally exactly the opposite of the type of guy you want. So now we have a complete misalignment, and we can see where the misalignment is stemming from. So I say all that to say it's so important to understand how feminine style can be really attractive and enticing to men. Even though I understand sometimes having a feminine style takes more work, takes more time, takes more care, takes more due diligence. Sometimes you might have to put your hair in a curler the night before. Sometimes you might have to do a whole bunch of stuff, go get your nails and feet done and get everything, like do an everything shower, as the Gen Z say, right? You do an everything shower where you shave everything head to toe. And I understand in a lot of cases, it can be more work and more daunting. But at the end of the day, I promise you, you will benefit, because the type of men you will end up attracting will more than likely be better quality, number one. And number two, you'll be attracting more of the type of man that you're looking for. The problem with not trying as it relates to your aesthetic or your look or your style, or just saying, whatever, I'm going to present myself however I feel like presenting myself, is if you're not acknowledging what you actually want to attract and what that person is actually attracted to, then we're going to have, or we may have, I should say, some misalignment that would put you in a position that you'd be very upset and saddened by later on. Our ninth trait has to do with subtlety. Now, I know this is kind of a funny drawing that I drew here, but it has a lot of truth to it. Sometimes it can feel like confidence is being the loudest person in the room by drawing all the attention to yourself. But I'm telling you, and men notice this, women can still be very confident within themselves while having a subtleness to their confidence, and not necessarily having to stand on a table and shake their booty to Sexy Red and try to be soaking up as much attention from everyone in the party as possible, but still being very attractive and confident in the way that they stand, in the way that they walk, in the way that they even sometimes keep to themselves. You don't want to associate as a woman the fact that you're quiet or not necessarily trying to always draw the most attention to mean that you're not confident within yourself, or you don't think that you're sexy, or you don't think that you're attractive or desirable. Because I promise you, the same way we're talking about aura and how people can pick up on that and how you present yourself, people can see that and sense that even without necessarily meeting you. And especially when they meet you and get an opportunity to have a conversation with you, they're able to understand, oh, this person really has a quiet confidence about them. I can tell in the way that you talk. I can tell in the way that you speak about yourself, especially the way that you speak about your life, your desires, your wants, your needs. You address things right directly. You're confident in the way that you address things. Trust me. Men, we can pick up on those things. And especially as we get to know you better and better, we can understand the difference between the women who have a real confidence because they're actually secure within themselves and they know their value and know who they are, and the women who have fake confidence because they're truthfully insecure, but they overcompensate for those insecurities by trying to draw so much attention to basically disguise from the fact that they're not really actually confident. Our 10th amazing feminine trait is being self-sufficient. Now, I don't want you to get this confused with being completely independent because there's a balance here. See, it's okay for you to want your man around and you to enjoy him being around, to be able to be your big, strong, capable, smart, intelligent man that can do a bunch of things for you. But it's also okay that if your man wasn't around, it's not going to be the end of your world. I liken being self-sufficient to like an electric scooter. When you're on that electric scooter, theoretically, you could push the scooter with your legs, just like you would a regular scooter, and it would go fine. Now, it wouldn't go as fast and it wouldn't be as quick, but it would still go. But as soon as you initiate the motors, that scooter can run all by itself without you ever having to put any energy into it in order to get it to go. It's a self-sufficient scooter in that sense. It's the same thing with you. You basically want to have the balance of having options. That yes, I love having my man around. Yes, he is amazing. He does make life better, and I do smile and I am happy and we do have a great relationship. So I love having him around. But in the event he can't be there, in the event he's not around, in the event he's busy and genuinely busy with work, or he has family things, or he has other priorities he needs to attend to, I am always capable of being self-sufficient. Let me tell you why us men, we love this so much, because the reality of it is, if we're going to properly be able to do our job as a protector and a provider, there will be times where we need to prioritize other things other than you at any given moment. And it doesn't have to be all the time. It doesn't need to be 24/7, and it doesn't need to be in a way where you actually feel neglected. But in order for us to be able to properly accomplish what we need to accomplish so that we can bring that back to you, sometimes we're going to be required to have our full, dedicated 100% focus on whatever it is that we're doing or trying to accomplish. And so in the process of that, being able to have a feminine woman who is also, as much as she loves us there, is also self-sufficient, not saying I don't need a man for anything, but capable of being self-sufficient, it instills in us the confidence and the ability to be able to better focus on what we need to focus on, understanding that our woman is not going to completely fall apart without us. In fact, we have trust in our woman as well, that she'll be able to hold down the fort when we're gone. She'll be able to take care of not just herself, but eventually also our children. And then by the time I come back and I can contribute to the household again, things will be even better than how I left them, as opposed to me being gone and I'm constantly having fear of, is my wife able to be self-sufficient when I'm not around? Or is she spending all her time so sad that I have to focus on work that she can't possibly function or do anything for herself or for other people?